So it is no accident that you all are here on this site on this very night. This will be a night like no other. Obviously, we're not doing the usual Christmas service where we sing a few carols and have a Christmas message, right? Tonight, we need you to use your imagination, if you will. And we want you to experience the first Christmas just like it was 2,000 years ago. So imagine with me, if you will, that we are in a different time and in a different place. We are in ancient Israel, Judea to be exact. It would have been dark and it would have been chilly like it is right now, and it was crowded. In fact, it was overcrowded. It was so crowded that there was nowhere to stay, no room in the inn. And I need my 3 helpers to come forward, the 3 people who have the pieces of paper. Come on down. These are my 3 responsible helpers. I have managed to secure some reservations for us so we don't have to sleep out in the field. Would you like to hand these out to a couple people? So people that are really responsible. You want to go hand like one right here, and maybe this lady right here would like to hold one. Are you responsible? You can hold it for her. Thank you. And you want to keep that one yourself? Awesome. Okay, good. Thank you so much. So, as I was saying, during that time in ancient Israel, there was something happening. There was something in the air, some kind of anticipation. Maybe you can feel it, the excitement, like, I don't know, like something is coming. And something is coming tonight for each of you that will be very special. So pay close attention and follow me as we go to our first stop. Watch your step. It's a little steep down here at the end. Now hold the line. So you guys can come in and kind of form a semicircle, just kind of up close a little bit.
Merry Christmas.
It's okay for adults to pet the donkeys too. We know you want to. Well, my name's Andrea Coley, and I'm one of the teaching pastors here at CrossWinds, and can I just echo what Jackie already told you, which is that we're so glad that you're here with us. We're so glad that you decided to spend this very unusual Christmas with us here at CrossWinds. So welcome. You know, that song that you were hearing as you walked in is one of my favorite Christmas songs, but I call it a pre-Christmas song. You know, a Christmas song is normally like Joy to the World or Angels We Have Heard on High, and it's fun and festive and energetic, and it makes sense because it's a Christmas song. It should be. It's celebrating Jesus' birth. But I think of O Come, Emmanuel as a pre-Christmas song because really it reflects back on the time before Jesus was born. And in that time, there were a lot of very difficult things that were going on. And people were crying out for God to come and show them that He was with them. That's what Emmanuel means, God with us. See, the Bethlehem journey that you are about to go on is to a world where there was quite a lot of darkness. There was economic hardship, political strife, racial tension. People were out of work, they were out of hope, and they were out of touch with God. And so it comes to a head and they cry out, oh come, Emmanuel. There's a part in the song that I think would be so good for us to recognize as you go on this journey, and it says this: "O come, Emmanuel, from on high, and disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight." And this line, it anticipates that in the midst of all this darkness, that God was about to shine a light like no other light had ever shone. For you tonight, maybe you could have the vulnerability to think about and admit the darkness that you're feeling in your world right now. And maybe it's our big collective world, but maybe it's just your world. And recognizing that you also long for the light of God to come in a specific way that you need Him to light up your darkness. So with that in mind, I want to ask you to do something. You're in this barn that is surrounded. If you look around, there's all these candles around the perimeter. And in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to go to any one of these candles and pull it out of its holder and take it with you on your journey. And as you go, I want it to be a reminder for your expectation, your anticipation of God lighting up your darkness. No. So go ahead now and you can get a candle and then your guide will take you out.
Okay, as soon as you grab your candle, follow me. We're going to the end. By the way, I need my 3 helpers who have the reservations. If you could come stand here with me in the front. All of my helpers, thank you. You've got one. Let's see, where are the other 2 people who have reservations? You have one, excellent. Do you have a reservation? Oh, stand right here. So you guys stand right here with me in the front. All right, well, guys, it looks like we made it to the end. But I don't see anybody. says there's a
All
vacancy.
right, Mordecai. I know the guests are hungry, but I just need a second, all right? All right, just give me a minute. He acts as if I haven't been running this inn since I've been 15. Oy vey. Don't forget the extra towels. As if I ever... Who are you? Where did you come from? I don't know who sent you here, but we got no room. We're booked up. Wait a minute. Was it Benjamin over at Benny's Bed and Breakfast? Did he send you here? He's always trying to ruin my Yelp rating. It was him, wasn't it? Wasn't it? I don't know what he was thinking, because we ain't got no room for you. I mean, come on, people. It's the census. We haven't had crowds like this since Black Friday. And even if I did have room for you, I got no time to clean it. You know why? Because I've got all this to do. I've got to set tomorrow's menu. I got to do the payroll. I got to apply for my PPP loan. I got to make the matzo ball soup. And I got to sweep the porch, which is the whole reason why I came out here in the first place. I don't know what you are thinking. I mean, just an hour ago I had to send away a nice young pregnant couple. And between you and me, she was about to pop right where you're standing. Right now. Yeah, so no. I got no time for you, and I got no room for you neither. So go on. I mean, really, people, what were you thinking? You come to the #1 rated hotel in all of Bethlehem without so much as a confirmation number? Nobody has a reservation? No? Okay. You have a reservation? Let me see it. Put it on the table. Come on, Chop, hurry up. Put it on the table. I got no time. All right, let me check this out. This is a report card. Nice try. Oh, you got an A in science. Well, good for you. All right, what else we got here? This is a recipe for knishes. I already make the best knishes in all the land. Worthless. Now here's a proper reservation for my hotel in Jerusalem. You know I'm a chain. I'm up to my eyeballs in too many jobs, too many people, and at least one too many husbands. I'm coming, Mordecai, I'm coming. You know what I could use right now? A vacation, or maybe just a spa day. I hear Napa's nice this time of year. You ever been to Napa? What? Oy vey! It's never enough! Mordecai, who's on front desk? You see, I have to do everything around here. All right, I gotta go, and you gotta scoot. You gotta go. Right now! And you can tell Benny that his plan failed. I'm going to keep my 5-star rating if it kills me. And it just might at this pace. Are you still here? I'm coming, Mordecai! I'm coming!
Oh my goodness, isn't it funny how that innkeeper is a lot like us today? I mean, we have so many things pulling at our attention. If you're a student, you have all your assignments to get in. If you're an essential worker, you've been going at it for 8 months now. Or maybe you just have a to-do list that's about this long, perhaps. But this time of year is always hectic, right? I mean, it just always is. But this year we've had that extra layer of chaos. And so as we head to our next stop, which will be just up the way a little bit, I want you to be thinking about those places in your life and those areas in your life where you might be feeling frenzied or overwhelmed. So follow me. This way. Hi.
Entrance, you guys can see. If you see this entrance. Oh, Selena.
Okay, if everyone could gather around. Hey, we've got to do something that I'm supposed to do at every time we stop. I think you guys remember. Merry Christmas! Woo, that was really good. Well, and I know that was a really short thinking time for you, but my guess is you guys don't really need a lot of time to think about the ways your life is feeling hectic this year. So, and it might be external chaos, like we talked about, the busyness of life. But for some of you, your chaos is internal. And it's the uncertainty and the restlessness, the fear, and usually our typical response is, well, just to resign ourselves to it and, endure it. But at Christmas, we celebrate a Savior who was born not just to change our eternity, but he was born to change our right now here on earth. And for some of you, what you need more than ever right now is the peace in your heart, the peace that only Jesus can bring. The Bible says this in Isaiah, "A child is born to us, a son is given to us. He will be called our ruler. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, and Prince of Peace." And for us to embrace that Prince of Peace, the peace that Jesus offers, we need to admit our need for that. So for you who are feeling that chaos right here on the inside, I want to ask you to think about what you might need this Christmas as we walk to our next stop. Follow me.
Oh, look, there's another thing. His name shall be called Prince of Peace. No, I just want to have two. See, there's three questions. Oh, and there's that one right there. I didn't see that. There's two guys. Look, oh, there's a goat. There's a goat.
Well, guys, come on up. Don't want to get too close, guys. You want to keep your distance. But follow me. Come on down this way. Come on down. Come on down. Good job, everybody. Keep coming. Look, they're greeting. They're here to greet us. Come on down. Come on down. Look at them. They're so cute. Be careful. Keep your distance. But admire them. Keep coming, guys. Come on down. All of you come forward. Yeah. Come on up, guys. Well, it appears that we have come across some goats in a field, which is convenient for me because that ties in pretty good into our story. We don't want to get too close to these, and I'm, told they prefer not to be touched. This is more of a shepherds in the field scene than a petting zoo. So, as you can see, we have the animals, but what do we not have for a shepherds in the scene field? What do we not have? Shepherds! We don't have any shepherds. You guys are going to be the shepherds, okay? So everybody grab your candle, hold it like this. We see everybody hold it like this is your staff, right? This is your staff. Okay, so every good shepherd has a staff, and then every good shepherd knows how many animals they have, right? So can I get all the kids and the adults to count for me? We have like one or two fewer tonight. But let's count our animals. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2 billy goats. Awesome. So we have our staff. We know how many sheep we have. So we're all into character. All right, here's something else I want you to do for me. I want you to really imagine yourself out in the field on the night Jesus was born. Everybody close your eyes. I need everyone close your eyes. Feel the chill, hear the noise. What do you hear? What do you feel? Imagine the loneliness of being far out away from the city and doing one of the lowliest jobs that anyone can do. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath and open your eyes and listen to what amazing thing happened to the shepherds out in that very field on that very night. There were shepherds living out in the field nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night, and an angel of the Lord appeared to them. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
The angel! The angel!
There's the angel of the Lord. Yay. The angel appeared in the night sky, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. Okay, guys, you missed your cue there. They were terrified. Let me hear cheer. Okay, but then the angel said, do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is Messiah the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You'll find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger. The Bible goes on to say that the angel left them, and the shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that's happened, which the Lord has told us about. Okay, guys, you missed another cue. Okay, I'm going to break it down for you. We got to say this, all right? Let us go to Bethlehem.
Let us go to Bethlehem.
Yes, and see this thing that has happened.
And see this thing that has happened.
Which the Lord has told us about.
Which the Lord has told us about.
Very, very good. All right, shepherds. I'll tell you what, let's say goodbye to the billy goats, shall we? You can come up and look at them. I just wouldn't get too close. And then follow me just a few steps down the path. You want to come look at the billy goats? All right. Bye, billy goats. We're just going a couple of steps right here. Let's put this flat down here. So just over this way a little bit. So guys, the Bible tells us that the shepherds did go and they did find the baby. In fact, the passage literally says they hurried off. Can you sense the joyful urgency, the anticipation that they felt? The Bible tells us that, and in those moments, something began to grow in their hearts of these men who felt forgotten, they felt left out, they'd never been appreciated. But a Savior had been born in their midst, and the thing that began to rise in their hearts was joy. And I know we've been pretending to be shepherds, but when it comes to needing this feeling of joy, my guess is that you can relate to that as well. This year has taken a toll on all of us, anxiety, isolation. Some of us feel like rock bottom is just kind of our new reality. So while those things can kind of seem insurmountable, the joy that Jesus came to bring is stronger than all of it. And the good news of that angel was not just for those shepherds, but that good news was for you as well. So we're going to continue on our journey, and as we do, I want you to consider where you might need some joy in your heart right now, today. So follow me.
Look, they're already lining up. Yeah, they do.
Messiah here. Welcome, welcome. What a fine-looking travelers we have.
Come this way, guys. All around the fire. Nice and warm.
Come on, gather in, but not too close. I hear there is a contagion in the land. We shall keep 1 camel's length apart. All right. Welcome. Young miss, where are you traveling from tonight? Concord. I believe I have heard of Concord. I traveled through there last year on my way to the Sea of Galilee. Is it near the Sea of Galilee? Maybe the Dead Sea? Opposite side of Euphrates, possibly? Okay, alright. And how long, young man, have you been on your journey? A long time. Wow, a long time. Is that half an hour? 1 hour? Wow, that is a long time. You've traveled a long way. My comrades and I, we have been traveling for nearly 2 months now. You see, we come from the Far East. I mean the Far East. Fine. I admit, I am a wise man. However, my directions are very poor. That is why we have Belfazar here. He guides us as we follow the night stars, the skies. You see, he is a master navigator of the night skies. But between you and me, it feels like we've been going around in circles. Now, you travelers look like you're from a future land, perhaps a distant land where men admit when they are lost. But alas, not in our world. And I fear we will never find what we seek. For you see, a couple of months ago, we spotted a star, a new star, one we had never seen before in any of our astrological charts. That night, as I slept, something woke me. I could not shake the feeling that the star meant the coming of something or someone. We were compelled to follow it. Along the journey, we received word of a child born. Not just any child, a king. Which is why we have all this. Gold, rare spices, all the treasure we could gather. But alas, I grow more and more doubtful that we will ever find this child. Now, what if all this is for nothing? Well, then we would have to go back to our land defeated. Back to the same old lives we had before. But no, this was going to change everything. I could feel it. When we started out, we believed that we would find what we were looking for. But now, oh, forgive me, travelers. We are tired, and this has not been an easy journey. For one thing, you would not believe how bad that breath is of that beast. And the camels is pretty bad, too. And don't walk behind him. The camel, I mean. I feel like I've been holding my breath this entire time. But the truth is, I have been holding my breath. For you see, I have been longing and searching for something my entire life. I thought this was going to be it. But alas, I'm beginning to lose hope. So many long nights with nothing to show for it. But wait, of course, I wonder if I were to give you some of our gold for you on your journey, maybe you could try to find the king. Would you honor the king with some of your own treasure? Then it is settled. We shall share some of our gold with you. As you leave this place and continue on your journey, take a piece of gold. And remember to follow the star, for it will lead you to where you seek. your answers. Go ahead. Each of you, take a piece of gold.
Take your gold, thank you, and follow me to our next stop.
I need gold.
Yes. Take a piece of gold.
Let's
Don't worry, it
journey
has
on.
been sanitized by camel's urine.
I forgot to take a piece of gold. Follow me. I forgot my gold, so follow me.
There we go.
She was getting her gold. Oh, yeah, exactly.
There's a star. I can see it.
Thank you.
I know one star ticket. It's Jupiter. Oh, it's like right here.
Let the plane go by.
Goodbye.
All right, everybody got a piece of gold?
Yes.
Got a good look at the camel. Awesome. Good job, everybody. Well, from the sounds of things, those wise men, they must have had some really long nights. And they must have had some pretty stinky nights, too, it sounds like. But even more challenging than all that was wondering if their journey was even worth it. I mean, wondering if they were ever going to find what they were looking for. I tell you what, before we get going, I want everybody to stop for just a second. Turn off your lanterns. If you would, there's a little knob on the side. And if you have your cell phone camera, I'll turn off my pen light. So everybody turn off your lanterns. It's on the side, kind of underneath where the light part is. And we're just going to take a second so we have no extra light. And we're going to look up at the sky, at the stars, if you will. And just kind of get lost. See how dark it is right now? Let's just get lost. I'll be quiet and let's just take a moment to look up at the stars and get lost there.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's not a star here. Let me see it.
Well, awesome. You can turn your lanterns back on to the flame setting. So like the wise men, some of you have probably been holding your breath, kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop, wondering if you're ever going to get past what it is you're facing right now. And when you carry a burden like that, it can feel really, really heavy, heavier than those trunks and satchels that the wise men had. Burdens take a toll on us, not just emotionally, but also spiritually. And the hope for something better gets harder and harder to hold on to. And in a real moment of honesty, some of you might even admit that your hope has been dormant as well. Well, these wise men, as they said, they had a star to guide them on their way. And we're going to let this star guide us here in just a moment. And as we follow that star, again, I'm going to ask you to kind of, in the silence, consider what burden you might be carrying right now that's causing you to lose hope. Sometimes when you least expect it, God shows up in just the way you need him. So let's move toward the star and discover what God has for us tonight.
No, yeah, I love it.
and stuff. Because it's
Take him out.
Joseph.
Wait, who's it? Oh,
He's in this. No.
who's that?
He just organized the actors
Oh,
first.
who's that? Oh, that's
He's in the
I see the song. It's right there. See? We might. There's a stone. Oh, God, that's too long. Trying to go. How did they do that? How do you? Probably tell.
Everyone watch your steps. Make a half circle around the nativity. If you would, watch your step. Watch your step. The Bible says this, that during those days, the Roman Emperor Caesar Augustus ordered the first census to be taken throughout his entire empire. Everyone had to travel to his or her hometown to complete this mandatory census. So Joseph and his fiancée Mary, they left Nazareth, which is a village in Galilee, and journeyed all the way to their hometown in Judea, to the village of Bethlehem. That was King David's hometown. They were required to register there since they were both direct descendants of David. And he went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. When they arrived in Bethlehem, well, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because, as we know, there was no room for them in the inn. Well, those first wise men, they did find Jesus. And when they did, a baby, they laid down their earthly treasures before the Savior, who was the greatest gift of all. Imagine the awe they must have felt as they did that. And each of you is holding a gold piece, right? So everybody get your gold piece out, hold it, feel it in your hand. So in the next few moments, as the singers continue to sing, we're going to come forward and drop our gold here as a way of showing and recognizing that no treasure on earth can satisfy the deep longing that we have in us for peace, for joy, for hope. These can only come from Jesus himself. So drop your coin and follow me. begin to arrive. All right. Well, we're nearing the end of our journey tonight. We have a couple more stops, but I want to just say one more time, Merry Christmas! Awesome. Well, the people of Israel who've been crying out to God to rescue them were given their answer in the birth of Jesus. He came to be the light in our darkness. And when you first got here, each one of you took a candle, right, that we've carried with us all the way around. And this candle has been the symbol of and the anticipation of Jesus being the light in our darkness. And as we travel together, you've thought about the areas in your life where you might need Jesus to light your way, and for joy, for hope, for peace. But there's really one more thing that Jesus brought, and perhaps, well, I believe it's the most important thing, and that is grace. Grace is God's unearned forgiveness and generosity. The Bible tells us that everybody has sin, that darkness that's in our soul, and it needs God's grace to be forgiven. So God generously made a way for that to happen through Jesus. Jesus was born, he lived a perfect life, and then he died in our place so that our sin, that darkness in our soul, would never get in the way of our relationship with God. And this forgiveness that Jesus offers is a gift that is available to all of us, to anyone who wants to receive it. So maybe this Christmas what you really need is grace. I mean, Christmas is a time where we celebrate Jesus, but a lot of people can't think of a moment when they've ever really asked to receive forgiveness through grace. And so for just this next part of our walk, as we walk over to the barn, I'm going to ask you if you would think about your own experience with grace. Let's walk in silence and give each other the space we need to reflect on that. Follow me.
No, it's swinging everywhere.
Just a little bit of a lift here.
Come on in, everybody. We're going to circle up in this room. So just kind of fill in around the sides, and we're going to make one big circle where we can kind of all look across the circle at each other and look at each other's eyes, see each other's faces. So just find a good spot somewhere along the circle. We can fit a couple people over here. We're going to stay socially distant in our circle, though, all right? So yeah, fill in this way. Come on in, everyone. We're going to make one big circle, not so much stacked as it is one line of the circle where we can all see each other, all right? Yeah, we've got some space over here. Come on in, everyone. We're making one big circle. Awesome. Oh, look at that, a wagon. We've got strollers. Perfect. You guys got the perfect gear for tonight. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone!
Merry Christmas!
Hey, we're so glad that you joined us tonight and have gone through this. We're almost done with all of it, but I just want to say I'm personally excited that you were here tonight. I'm the pastor here at CrossWinds, Chris, and it's our pleasure to have you out of this. Normally, if you've been to our Christmas services, you know we meet in this big building across the creek here, and it's usually hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are here on those services in each one, and this is a very different Christmas for us as it is for everyone. And I'll tell you, as we've been doing this last night and tonight, I have enjoyed it because this more intimate setting has allowed us to just even look at each other and see people in their eyes and say, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I haven't seen you in months. And And we're going to get a chance to do something very special, I think, right now in just a moment. As you were walking, our tour guide, Jackie, was asking you to think about some things. And she was asking you very specifically to think about what is it you need from Jesus this Christmas. I imagine as you left the innkeeper scene, one of the things you saw is just the chaos in her life. And maybe it made you think of a little bit of the chaos that's been in your own life this year, or the anxiety, the stress that's been in your life. And maybe you were able to identify as you went through that, you know what I need from Jesus this Christmas? I need peace. I need peace. You might have been walking and heard the word joy in this whole thing and thought, oh, I could use some joy. If there's one thing we can say about 2020, it's been a year where we've had a lot of loss. And with loss comes sorrow. And I know that many of us have been robbed of our joy. And you would say, I need joy this Christmas. I imagine some of you had some things you had planned this year, and things you were excited about, looking forward to, and you were ready for stuff, and that stuff got delayed or postponed, canceled, whatever, and it has dashed some of your hopes, and maybe, like me, a little bit of a cynicism has set in. And maybe what you would acknowledge you need tonight is hope this Christmas. In just a minute, Jackie is going to take you across the way to this area behind you we call the Grove. It is just this magical area that our team has set up. And when you go over there, you're going to notice that there's 3 tables with those 3 words near them: peace, joy, or hope. And we want you to go over to the table that marks the thing that you know you need this Christmas. Which one of those 3? And on that specific table, you'll find a specific card, like this one here. It says joy. And we want you to grab that card, and you're going to notice on the back, there's a prayer that's been written. Because it's one thing to acknowledge that you need that thing this Christmas. It's another thing to pray it to God. Would you bring this into my life? And so, like this card right here, it just says, Dear God, this Christmas I ask for your joy to rise up in my heart. And I would imagine some of you that maybe know you need these things, but not praying them. So we want to give you a moment in the Grove to just kind of go find a space alone. Or maybe if you're with a family, your family, you'll find a space together as a family and read a prayer or multiple prayers out loud. And then you're going to notice that you've also got a smaller card that goes with the big card. And this one here, I just took a small one that says joy as well, and you'll see a clothespin. And again, it's one thing to acknowledge you need joy or peace or hope. It's another thing to pray for that. It's a different thing to mark the moment that says, God, I trust, I have faith. Deliver that in my life this Christmas. And we want to give you a moment to take this thing and go pin it to one of those Christmas light wires that you see hanging in there. In fact, when you go, you'll see hundreds of these that have been pinned. By the end of these 5 days, there'll be thousands representing the prayers of God's people in their faith. Now, there's one more word that you heard Jackie mention tonight as you walked, and one more word describing something you might need, and it was the word grace. Around CrossWinds, when we talk about grace, we mean God's unearned forgiveness and generosity. And can I just tell you what I've noticed? It's really easy for a lot of us to acknowledge, I need peace, I need hope, I need joy. So many of us have never acknowledged we need God's forgiveness. And if you have never done that, I can't think of a better time to do it than to do it at Christmas. And so you'll see a 4th table in there. It says grace. And whenever someone picks up a card from that table and reads that prayer and goes and asks God to bring that into their life, we have them go up to one of these grace walls. We have 3 of them that are over there, and we build these to represent light turning on in the darkness that sometimes exists in our lives. And if you want to do that because you pray this prayer asking for God's grace this Christmas, we've got some pastors and leaders who would love to show you what it looks like to do. I'll tell you what, when we built these were all empty. And every light bulb you see in those right now represents someone's story of God bringing grace. Maybe you need that. All right, before we do that, we have a tradition around here about how we close every one of our Christmas services. We close singing Silent Night by candlelight. So if you have your candles, if you can take those out and light them up, and we are going to sing Silent Night together. And one of the ways we do this tradition here is we always take time during the song or tonight before the song to just say some words to the people that we're with, our family or our friends, letting them know how much we care about them and they matter to us, we love them. Sometimes we go through Christmas, we don't say some words that need to be said. So I want to give you a moment to do that before we sing, and then we'll all sing together, okay? Go ahead and take some time to do that, and then you'll know what we sing. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
All right, Jackie, will you show them all
Yes,
your
I
grove?
will.
Show them the praise walls and where those tables are.
Follow me, guys.
All right.
Watch your head right here. The low hanging cigarette. Watch your head.
Watch your step, too.
We're too short.
And I play for a while. And when I do exercise time, I love it.
I know.
You good?
See, there's
I
the
warned you that one, but I think you found out.
So come on in, guys. This is our last stop. Well, okay, guys, we've come to our last stop. This is called the Grove, and this is where you're welcome to stay as long as you would like. Chris asked you to decide what you need tonight from Jesus: peace, hope, or joy, or grace. And there's 3 tables, one there, there, and there, and then there's the grace wall. And at each table there are the prayer cards and then the smaller card that you clip to the wires. Some of you, though, may have come to a realization that you don't just need what Jesus brings, but you actually need Jesus himself, and you want to receive his grace for the very first time. So for any of you that need that, we have our grace wall. We have pastors and elders who are there and ready to pray for you as you make your decision and put a light bulb in the wall. So with that, again, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. When you do exit, though, guys, could I ask you to exit on the left-hand side of the bridge? It's the more narrow side of the bridge. And then you can turn in your candles when you get down there. Everyone that has a lantern, I'll take your lanterns from you now. But before I do that, I want to leave you with this one last word. May this journey you have been on tonight continue with you as you go. And thank you, guys. You've been a great group. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. You are so welcome.